Dear Patriot, dear and glorious and profoundly appreciated Patriot, lover of liberty, constitutional century, these are our days. This is the day. Who was it? Natalie Merchant. These are the days. 10,000 maniacs. This is one of the most glorious times I have felt. Celebrate with me. Celebrate with me if you are in any way bedraggled, down in the mouth, confused, depressed. You simply do not know what is happening. This is one of the greatest efforts. This might be, to me, evidence once and for all that there is a God, a loving God, a beneficent God, a political God who is blessing this country by expurgating, bowdlerizing, removing, amending, ablating this cancer called, you fill in the blank, globalism, shadow government, Bidenism. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I have no idea. This doesn't even have a name. This is a level of corruption that has been 50 years in the making, and it's just kind of coming to a head. And history will show. History will show. Imagine a Frontline one day with that fellow whose voice is so terrific, that Frontline voice, who can make opening an aspirin bottle sound fascinating. And one day we will look at this and we will say something happened. First was this monster called Donald Trump that people laughed at. They didn't know what to make. He was a developer, a TV star. So was Reagan. But this was different. And at the time, we will say, we didn't know what it was. We didn't understand what it was. We didn't know what he was. We didn't get it. He was so atypical, so different. Everything changed. At the time that electioneering and campaigning changed, and being on the hustings. And do you remember reading ever that Abraham Lincoln was chided, absolutely excoriated over the fact that he was campaigning? He was campaigning. Let me say this again. Presidents didn't campaign. You put your name out and you wouldn't deign to ask for a vote. It was unseemly. It's like, I'm running, and hey, if it's all the same to you, could you vote? Okay. I know that sounds bizarre, but it was the strangest thing. And guess who came along with pictures and promotion? Abraham Lincoln. Oh my God, they called him a monkey and an ape. And I mean, oh God, he was ugly. And it was brutal. The rail splitter. Might have been sleeping with his roommate, might have had I don't want to say non-binary, but he might have had a bit of a fling. He might have suffered permanent and paralyzing depression over the fact that he gave his wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, the clap, syphilis, and made her crazy. Oh, yeah. Then his son died, Willie. I mean, he was a mess. And he was, 55 or something when he died? I mean, he looked ancient. I mean, the Civil War. I mean, but understand, but at the time, historically, and that's why, my dear friend, history is critical to understand how certain things that we take for granted, and he changed it. And they said, you can't do this. You can't do this. He said, yes, I can, because the rules have changed. That's my thing. The rules have changed. It's different. And you have to understand history to know kind of where things go. FDR, fireside chat. FDR was the last of what was called the patrician. This was a guy who, by virtue of his, oh my God, by virtue of his pedigree and his money and his panache and all of this stuff, he was really something. We don't have these anymore. We don't have somebody you would call patrician. Maybe in that Bill Buckley ilk, but it just doesn't. Even the voice. His wasn't even the Mid-Atlantic. It was legit. This was a guy who had absolutely nothing in common with the common man. Nothing. And they loved him. And what do you think he did? What do you think he did? It was the radio, the fireside chat. We take it for granted. It doesn't even mean anything to us anymore. We don't even notice it. Okay, you use the radio. You don't like Lincoln campaigning, Lincoln putting on pictures, portrait, him. What are you doing? Half the time, nobody look what these people know what they look like. They had these kind of engravings but it was tumultuous. It was shape-shifting. It changed everything. And he spoke to people. And what did he give people? Confidence. Happy days are here again. The world was, after the Depression, World War II, dear God. Now, he wasn't perfect. They hated him. You think they hate Trump? Oh, no. You think you've got Trump derangement syndrome? Not like this. Smedley Butler basically upended a coup. They were going to instigate a coup in our country because the robber barons, it was a different world. It wasn't perfect. But things changed. John Kennedy, the debate, TV, it just changes. With things change. That's why we need new, whether it's music, sports, whether it's anything, just anything. Things change. And Donald Trump changed everything. This totemic, I don't even think he realizes it. He doesn't understand it. We don't understand it. He has these, and by the way, I will give you a list of everything that he's done that's wrong for another time. Not now. I'm not interested in this now. He is our chemotherapy, our radiation. He is leeches, bloodletting. Do you know, I'm going to give you one of the best analogies, and I hope you don't get sick. But I love anything bodily related. Anything. And if people find it disgusting, I run to it. Because it must be for a good reason. Digestion, gut health, anything involving the gut, anything that makes people wince, sick, I love. And I love it. Love it. Well, years ago, I read something which is fascinating. And just give me a second. You'll if you're like me, you'll find this fascinating. Maybe you knew about this, maybe you did. People who had terrible, C. diff and all these problems, these gut irregularities. Oh my God, this C. diff, old people would die from this. People were just, absolutely dying with all kinds of lower GI problems that you can imagine. The Chinese, if I recall correctly, did something where they took people who had stable gut biota, good gut health, good E. coli balances and all that kind of stuff. And they took their magic. I don't know if I can say this, but their egesta. Okay? And they took it in a blender, made sure it was, I don't know how you clean it up, but anyway, they did whatever they did to it. And they fed it back into the person whose gut health was all screwed up. It was called a fecal transplant. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And at that time they said, "Are you out of your mind?" And it worked. It saved lives. It was transformational. That's Trump. He's a fecal implant, or transplant rather. When Ignat Semmelweis said, "I think we should wash our hands in the operating room," what do you? I mean, these are what are you? What? Crazy. Sometimes things are so brilliant. They're just little stupid things. Don't you love these YouTube sections called life hacks? Don't you love that? Here's how you keep the pot from boiling over. Here's how you. I didn't know that. It's fabulous. That's Trump. Now listen to me. Who's down today? Nothing like a good fecal transplant story to make your day. I know. Isn't that interesting? I love that stuff. I just think that's the most fascinating thing in the world. One more story. Do you know the sloth? You might call him the sloth, but the sloth, as David Attenborough says, the sloth. Check it on YouTube. He comes down from the tree. He's the slowest moving thing in the world. Makes a snail look like Usain Bolt. They're the slowest things. They have no defense mechanism, no nothing. They're like Biden. They're just in this coma state. The sloth. Do you know that the sloth comes down the tree like once a day or whatever it was, to, as David Attenborough says, to defecate. He leaves his aerial abode, his place of safety. He leaves it to come down to the ground to, as he says, defecate. Why doesn't he just do it up in the tree and let it drop? And he risks his life. He's up in this tree. Nobody knows he's there. He's like dead. He's stuck to the tree. He has complete he eats. I don't know what he eats, whatever he eats, but he can just stay there. The worst predators don't. They say, "What is that thing?" I don't know. It hasn't moved. And it's probably a rock. But he comes down to. Why? I don't know. Why? Why does the sloth defecate? Why? Why are the Democrats now asking, do you think Joe's maybe out of it? I don't know. The family is meeting at Camp David. Wait a minute. Wait, whoa, what? The family is the family. You want me to believe the family what now? The family. Wait. You're trying to tell me, let me get this straight, that the family is what? Are you kidding me? You're telling me that the family all of a sudden is meeting and that they didn't know? Are you that they didn't know he was like this? My friends, I think you know this. I hope you know this. I do. I really, really do. This is my humble little X Twitter. I can't call it X. I'm still saying albums. I don't know. This is my link. Sign up. Just Twitter, X is still the best news there is. The best. It's the best. I'm going to go through some of these incredible stories. And I'm finding old things that I put from 22, 2022, he was 2 years. I'm saying they're gonna get rid of him. They're going to put in him, and I mentioned Gretchen Whitmer, and they said to me, "You're out of your mind." And I'm saying, "No, I'm not out of my mind. You just don't. Either you don't want to listen to me, you're not paying attention to me, or I don't know what." It's the truth. I'm telling you, it's the truth. That's what's going to happen. Trust me. They're buying media time already. I've got sources. There are those of us who read, the stuff that I read and I follow. It's not out there on the internet. It's not, I don't want to give up my sources, but take my word for it. We've been talking about websites. They've been securing websites forever. And Gavin Newsom in particular, not that I want this, but I'm telling you, they've known this. They've known this. I don't know why they've waited. I don't know what their purpose is. I don't know why. I don't understand it. I can't tell you. Why Joe in the first place? I don't know. He's compromised. He's corrupt. Remember what I'm saying. I'll let you on that. I'm not going to say this, but wait until you hear what I've heard about when he first met Jill and how they were, what's the word? They were dating, and he was the babysitter. And when his wife was in this tragic accident and the circumstances regarding that, it'll blow your mind. Now, a lot of this stuff, I don't, just because I hear something, I'm not going to go out and announce it, but it sounds very plausible. It's the least of your concern, but understand something. His character, his lying. Remember when he was sworn in, in the hospital or whatever it was? He milks things. He is an opportunist. He's still saying that his son Bo died in Iraq. He never happened. So either you are a liar or you're demented. One of the two. What are you doing? What possibly is the reason for what we're seeing? What? You didn't know this? Let's go through a few things. I want to give you a couple of stories that are really good. Again, go to my Twitter there, at Lionel Media, What do we have, by the way? Well, we got a few things here that are pretty good. By the way, October 26, 10 days before Trump's triumphant and historic re-election, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be there. It's going to happen. The Electile Dysfunction Tour. That's right, folks. It's happening. It is happening. Believe me when I tell you this, but I digress. Here's one for you. Some of the memes are so fantastic. Biden playing golf. Guess my handicap. His caddy says, speech, memory, walking, riding a bike, counting, dressing yourself. I don't know. Here's one. Biden claims that no American troops have died during his administration. And there we are, troops, and we have caskets, and just horrible. The man knows nothing. I put again the link to Gavin Newsom's Keeping It in the Family. This is the primer, a wonderful primer, the likes of which you cannot believe. But here's one for you, which is really, and then Kevin McCarthy says Biden won't step aside. You can't negotiate with him. Kevin, this is where I lied. This is McCarthy now. This is where it drives me crazy. Kevin, these people basically expurgated a certain person whose name we can't say while in federal custody. And you mean to tell me that they're going to say, come on, Joe, please. Jill, would you talk to him? No. God, we don't have any power in this. We can't. Are you kidding me? You're kidding, right? You're kidding me. They lie in colors. They lie at levels of, I mean, Kevin McCarthy, are you serious? Are you absolutely serious? Then they look at this. This is from The Hill. Biden's difficult debate puts spotlight on Harris. Who writes this stuff? This is The Hill. The same people who fired Brianna Joy Gray. Who writes this? They act like they don't know. Oh, I think this. I've got an idea. What do you think? Maybe this puts a spotlight on Kamala. I never thought of that. I know. Here's one for you. Remember that human carbuncle, Anthony Scaramucci? Remember this guy, this twit? Remember this guy? And you wonder, I'll tell you one thing about Trump. He has the worst sense of character there is. Mephisto Faustus, by the way, welcome, new member, my friend. Remember he picks these people? General Kelly, Mattis, Lloyd, what was his name? Not Timberlake, Lloyd, whatever. He had the worst people ever, the worst. He didn't know anything. He had no Jim Baker. He didn't know. He knows now, though. He knows now. But Anthony Scaramucci, you remember he was doing something where, wasn't he? Did he pretend to date Kimberly? I don't even know. I can't even keep these people some of these folks are just. I would tell Mr. President, please sit down. Let me talk to Don Jr. Sit down. Sit down. Not now. Hold it, zip it, and tell Kimberly, here's a trip. Go on a cruise. We got this. We don't need any problems. We don't need you to spike the ball. We don't need anything. Just let it go. Let it happen. And your father's doing this perfectly. Act like Eric. Just be quiet. He's got this one. We don't need you to say something stupid. Don't say anything. Let it go. Let it go. Trump's playing this beautifully. He's acting like he's being noble, and he's not, again, spiking the ball. He's not going in for the kill when Joe makes you uneasy. Trump doesn't have to say anything. But listen to this. Listen to this twit Scaramucci. Now this jadrul. Again, who is he? I have no idea where he came from. I thought he was gone, but he popped up. But listen to this. You're going to love this. This is a guy who supposedly is trying to help Biden for reasons I don't know. He's what? Some Wall Streeter who wants Biden? Okay, fine. Scaramucci, I went to President Biden's fundraiser in East Hampton. Let me stop right there. There's two words here in New York, two phrases. One is the Hamptons. They love the Hamptons. They love the Hamptons. Let me explain to you with the Hamptons. Imagine the most miserable people you've ever wanted to be around or not be around. Annoying, obnoxious, self-centered, just the worst people ever. As one of my friends says, hello, how are you? I mean, just phonies and okay, that's the Hamptons. You got a horrid. Mrs. Ellen and I had a wonderful time one time at Montauk, but only because we had fun. But that's it. Remember that? Remember the pants? Anyway, just let it go. So this is Anthony Scaramucci quote. Oh, the other word was Mar-a-Lago. I went to Mar-a-Lago. Do you want to see my picture with me? Yeah, would you put the picture? No, I went to Mar-a-Lago. I'm impressed. Ooh, somebody take me to the emergency room. I'm horripilating. Oh, you went to Mar-a-Lago? Oh my God. Really? Oh, yes. Okay. Did you stand behind the line and wait? These phonies. Anyway. Scaramucci. Right. Is it Scaramouche? Can you do the fandango? Thunderbolt and lightning. Anthony Scaramucci writes, I went to President Biden's fundraiser in East Hampton and I thought he did quite well. Quote, reading the teleprompter today and meeting with people. However, that is not going to be enough to prove to the American people that he's up for another 4 years. Whoa. He's reading a teleprompter at a fundraiser? Whoa. What? She's doing the talking. Mama June, she's doing the talking for Boo Boo there. What are you talking about? What kind of a schmuck? You idiot! You're telling people he's reading a prompter at his own fundraiser? You're an idiot. No, excuse me, strike that. With all due respect to idiots, you're a Boeotian. This guy's scared. Again, I saw that. I just, this is an excellent evaluation. I'm not even going to say it. From close friend Whitney Tilson. Doesn't that sound like somebody like one of the girls, Whitney and anyway. Let's listen up. President Biden needs to appear in unscripted settings and handle fair but tough questioning. Further demonstrations of his ability to read from a teleprompter will not assuage my concerns. 4 ideas have come to mind. Listen, these are what these geniuses are saying. Number one, hold an hour-long press conference at the White House and continue holding them every week until the election. Who? Joe Biden? Poopy pants? Are you kidding me? It's just 30 seconds into it. Number two, do an interview with 60 Minutes this week to be aired next Sunday. Next, meet with the editorial board of the New York Times so they can see what they were wrong to call for his resignation. What? The New York Times? Maybe you can call Abe Rosenthal up. What decade are you living in? And finally, do another appearance on a late night show similar to the one 4 months ago with Seth Meyers. This can be done in the next week. They're actually, oh my God. Can you believe this? These are the big money geniuses. Seth Meyers. Sparky says, should you use a mid-Atlantic accent? Was saying, yes, the Hamptons, yes. But they don't even do that. The Hamptons is not really what the Hamptons kind of used to be. They just swear. It's the way they love to do this. And people love, and there's like Hamptons Bay, Hamptons Villas, Hampton Street, anything even remotely Hampton. That's like for those of you from Tampa, remember Carrollwood. Everything was Carrollwood. This Carrollwood, but anything north of Waters was Carrollwood. It's like, what are you talking about? Anyway, I've got no time for this. I'm just an American. I'm just a plain old gut bucket country music. I'm just America. By the way, today, listen to, here's my pick of the music tip of the day, Tuba Skinny. Oh my God, you will love them. Ryan says, replacing Biden with Newsom might marginally help, but his record in California is atrocious. In addition, the DNC would have to shiv Kamala, which won't go over well. Nobody cares. Trump wins either way. Absolutely. Ryan, let's go through this. Okay. Number one, you are so correct. Let's say I've been called in, Ryan, to represent Gavin Newsom. Okay. And I'm Gavin Newsom's advocate. And I say to you, well, let me explain something to you. Mr. Newsom would like to take over and be the nominee. Well, I don't think Mr. Newsom would be a good. Why is that? Well, because he's done a terrible job in California. Excuse me. Yes. Democrats have done a terrible job everywhere. Everywhere. Do you mean Gavin Newsom has done a worse job than Joe Biden? I don't think so. Do you mean to tell me that Gavin Newsom is worse than what this country's doing? I don't think so. Gavin Newsom is a Democrat. Gavin Newsom can complete sentences. He has tailored clothing. He's 56. Some people think he's like, oh, he looks great. Looks a hell of a lot more presidential than this guy. Do you think anybody? Go ahead. I'm Gavin Newsom. Ask me anything. Anything you want. Anything. And I'm going to come back with another one. Well, Governor Newsom, yes. Do you know that crime is up? No, it's not. Crime is down 25%. In the past 4 weeks, 7 of the top 10 county law enforcement agencies have a 25% drop. And he's going to throw this stuff at you. And you're going to say, I don't know anything about that, because he keeps the records. So don't even worry about that. What are you going to do? He's got Rachel Levine. I don't think we should have transgender children. And you're going to be worse than that? He's a dream. Who was it yesterday? Who was it who said, I think Josh Shapiro would be? Who? Josh Shapiro? Oh, I think Josh Shapiro. Gavin Newsom. Either way. But you're right, though. Bring him on. Look, is there anybody who thinks that there is any way that Joe Biden is going to stay on? Does anybody think so? Come on. Does anybody think Joe Biden's not going to step down? They're giving you all the signals. Anybody? Anybody? Is there anybody who thinks that Joe Biden is not going to be replaced? Everybody says, I think he's going to step down. I think he's going to step down. I think he's going to step down. Okay, fine. EDAV says, why do you suppose the talking heads on the left, elected in media, keep saying we live in a democracy instead of a constitutional republic? It's an excellent question, because they don't understand. They don't understand. It's the same way they say, well, she was found guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt. What? The shadow of a doubt? The shadow of your smile? I mean, a reasonable doubt? I mean, they don't really understand the concept of it. As you know, dear friend, we live in a country of cliches and bumper stickers and, cookie cutter playbook echo chamber lines. We are not a democracy. We are not. The other day, who was it? Tucker Carlson is out, and God bless him. Tucker's he's just feeling his oats. He's just loving it. And it's good to see after what he did, because he just got out of Fox just in time. Anyway, don't feel sorry for them. They're going to retire millionaires doing basically nothing. But this is a democracy. But let me go back to what I was saying before. It doesn't matter. Who hang on. Our dear friend who said, okay, yeah, Ryan. Okay, Ryan said, well, replacing Biden with Newsom. What about, okay, 2 things. California. They're going to say, no, it's not. Crime is better. Oh, it's not his fault. That's Trump's thing. Well, as you know, I'm not in charge of this. As you know, I inherited you inherited from Jerry Brown. Whatever he says, it's going to work, because Americans are not going to say, wait a minute, he was wrong about that second statistic he gave about crime. No, Alameda County was actually up. Have you seen the Alameda mayor, Oakland mayor? She's under indictment or investigation. I mean, their FBI going after one of their own. She must be horrible. In any event, now, Kamala Harris, let me put to bed Kamala Harris, as others have. In any event, nobody is going to say, hey, that's not fair. Kamala Harris has no fans. Okay? Let me say this, and let's clear this once and for all. Kamala Harris has no fans. Kamala Harris is an idiot, and everyone knows this. Kamala Harris makes Joe look like Edward Whitten. She is a bumbling oafish. She has no excuse. He's a guy who's at least he's 81, and he's walking around. But she She's been like this, and the community bank is a part of the community. Why are you laughing? What do you mean? Like that. I have hebephrenia. It's a form of schizophrenia. I have pseudobulbar affect. I'm demented. People have known this from the beginning. So look, nobody's going to say, hey, hold it. She's a black. Okay, you know what? You're right. Kamala, let her go. If it was Stacey Abrams, maybe. If it was Condoleezza Rice or somebody of that ilk, she's a buffoon. She's a jadrul. She's an idiot. And everybody said, get her. She had, listen to me. Why did they pick her in the first place? She was what, trailing at like 2%? She had to drop out of the race. Remember this? 2%. And they pick her? There's this idea that somehow people say, well, you got to pick a black woman. No, you don't have to pick a black woman. Would you stop that? That's ridiculous. And if you want to pick a black woman, pick somebody who's marginally intelligent. Sparko says, how is Hillary's health nowadays? Her concussion and alcoholism held her back in 2016. If she's recovered, I can see her as an alternate to Newsom. Hillary has diehard fans. Sparky, God bless you. First of all, I did not hear about the alcoholism, though she used to be walking around drinking box wine in the moo-moo. Remember this? Remember when after she lost, she had this house dress, like a shift or something. She's like a moo-moo or like a caftan or something. She'd walk around. There was a group of people in Chappaqua, the woods of Chappaqua. They turned the corner, and there's Hillary Clinton. I said, what the hell are you doing here? Hello. Remember that? It was weird. That's number one. Number two, the concussion. Bill Clinton wrote about this. She wrote about this. Her health, I don't know. But listen to me when I tell you this. Listen to me when I tell you this. Hillary Clinton is not radioactive. Hillary Clinton is dead. I mean, politically, ideologically, cephalogically, but she is so depraved and loathed and despised. Absolutely, positively, like you cannot believe. She is, the youth hate her. What she did to Bernie Sanders, they can't stand her. Did Sufis or Suffers or what they call Sufis or what they call it? Suffs. Did that win anything? Oh. Hillary is this. I call her the oven mitt fashionista. Do you ever see the clothes, oven mitt stuff she wears? It looks like an oven mitt. I don't know where she got. She and Jill Biden. Look, I'm no Mr. Blackwell here, but the stuff they wear is like, what is this? What the hell is this? Jalebas. Anyway, no. Hillary Clinton. No. There's so many good people. Gretchen Whitmer. I know people. I know you're going to say, Gretchen Whitmer. I know. She's like the most unfriendly. I couldn't figure out Sarah Palin. What the hell was that about? Sarah Palin. Listen, you know, the John McCain of 2000 was okay, and then Sarah Palin just made it even worse. But some idiot thought, oh, she'd be great. Raul Rodriguez says the end of democracy is when the Dems can't steal. Ooh, to put that, I'm going to chisel that one in granite. That is sheer profundity. Now, ours is not to worry about what the Democrats should do. I don't care. Let's go to the next level of this. And please, by the by, I'm going to put this up again. This is the story you have to read about the corruption of California. California, the mafia. The California mafia is unbelievable. Okay? Let me just put it that way. This is from Cal Matters about Newsom, Brown, Pelosi, D'Alessandro, and Getty how Squaw Valley, they are so corrupt. This goes back to Pat Brown. I mean, you can't believe this, where they gave how Gavin made his money and them. Oh, from Barbara Boxer and Feinstein and Pelosi. Seriously, you got to read this. You had no idea of how corrupt these people were. You have no earthly idea. But here's the way, okay? Situation number one, Donald Trump. Donald Trump against Joe Biden. Donald Trump versus, let's just say, Gavin Newsom. Could be anybody else, okay? Let's think about this. Our good friend Fret Pound says, funniest thing you ever said about Hillary, she's wearing an oven mitt. Thank you so much. The oven mitt fashionista. I called her that for years. Thank you so much for that. Let's go through this, shall we? Very interesting. In the first scenario, President Trump runs against Joe Biden. Joe Biden, for reasons that no one can understand, decides, I'm going to stick it through. I'm going to do this. Exactly. Remember this. This is important. This is important, friend. This is 128 days until the election. 128 days until the election. Now, let me also say something to you, dear friend. You're going to hear this stuff about, well, they've got plenty of time. They always say, oh, will they be able to print the ballots? Yes, they can print the ballots. If there's one thing these people know, is how to print ballots. They can print them in their car. Look what last time. Look at 2020. They had ballots. They're printing. What do you want to say? No, they can do that. Plus, you don't have to have any ballots printed until July, in the case July 15th or 18th, until at least after that for the case of the Republicans, and August in the case of the Democrats. Remember, Donald Trump is the presumptive nominee. He's not the nominee. He's going to get it, but he's the presumptive. They could change this. They have to officially vote him in. And Democrats, this rule is the wildest. Super delegates and delegates. Why is that? It came back to the days of McGovern. George McGovern was a nightmare when Democrats were tough. Even though this guy was post-World War II, he was like a bomber pilot or whatever he was. This guy, he just seemed kind of wimpy. He didn't even win his own state. Nixon clobbered him. He won D.C., I think, in Massachusetts. I think. And I think Nixon said he's got to win one. Nixon was greater than you will ever know. What they did to him. But that's for another discussion. But what they did was they said, oh, we can't do this again. No, we cannot let the Democratic Party be run by these lefty lunatics who pick somebody as crazy as George McGovern. What are you, nuts? Oh, no. We got to fix that one. So that's why they have super delegates. So super delegates can outweigh the regular delegate, and it's just, your guess is as good as mine. You know what? Let them figure that one out. I don't care. Scenario number one, Trump against Biden. Scenario number two, Trump against whoever it is. Let's take the first one. Trump against Biden. What happens? He clobbers him. Now, the only thing is, remember I'm telling you this, the only thing is, what about how many millions of new people there are? I don't know. Bradley Opland says, R. Ken Jr. interview with Dr. P. Okay, I'm going to... Dr. P, Dr. Phil R. Ken Jr. Who is that? Robert. Bobby Kennedy Jr. Please. Thank you, Brad. Don't waste my time with this guy. I really don't. I mean, honest to God, it's nice. He is such a hack. attack. I thought he was great at first. Boy, was I wrong. Oh, man. He showed through immediately. I'm telling you, I don't know what you need to know about him. But first of all, he's a complete sellout. He picks that lunatic from Google. That's his VP. And I'm sorry, I hate to be gross about this, but when you pick a Kennedy, you sure as hell better look at who the VP is from the track record, if you know what I mean. And you pick this one, Shanahan or whatever her name is. Oh no! And then when Shmuley came in and basically said, "Come on, let's go, okay." Come on, let's go. All right. Whatever you say. This guy, and right before October the 7th, he just sold his soul. I mean, this guy, he should move to Israel. Nothing wrong with that. Let me make sure you understand something. I'm an American citizen. Surprise. What Israel does, God bless you. What Ukraine does, God bless you. What Russia does, God bless you. Everybody, whatever you want to do. It's not my concern. It's not my concern. I've been through my whole life. Vietnam, no, that was ridiculous. Iraq, it was ridiculous. Afghanistan, that was ridiculous. We don't need this. I'm tired of just funneling into this corrupt organization, these gangsters in the military-industrial complex. You have got to be kidding me. I'm so sick and tired of these people. You have no earthly idea how they disgust me. Okay? Do I make myself clear? I think I do. Okay. So that's okay. I have no time for that. Situation number 1. Joe Biden. Trump wins. No, they're going to throw, believe me, if all of a sudden they throw in at the last minute millions of new voters, there comes a point where the only thing that stops them is not their morality, but being caught, and they will be caught. Dear God. So many Democrats are going to be so furious with this. They didn't, not even Bernie Sanders, nobody, they're sticking with this. What are you doing? This isn't, they won't vote. They will do what they did in Minnesota. They won't vote. They won't vote. Kind of like a no confidence. They're not going to vote. And Trump doesn't have to say anything. And please, do you know what the next debate is going to be? What is it, in September or whatever? I don't know. When's the next debate? September? Can you? ABC is going to hold that one. More people will watch that debate. Can you imagine if somehow he is still in the offing? Can you imagine what that's going to be like? Any clue? Any idea of what? Dear God. And all Trump has to do is this. Anywho, let me tell you what I want. Just placate him. Don't point anything out. Don't be rude. Don't make any jokes. Trump did say one thing. The best line he said was, I don't know what he said. I don't think he knew what he said. Which is true because he was just mumbling about something. And also, tone it down. Trump family, tone it down. Don Jr., tone it down. You don't have to go for this one. He's got it. Let him go. Show some class. Be quiet. They're waiting to jump on something. Your father has it. Same thing goes, well, Kimberly's irrelevant, but shut up. Talk about how great America is. Terrific. Talk about how the veterans are going to benefit. The middle America, moms, dads, kids, crime is going to go. Talk. Be positive. We don't need snark. We don't need this. Other people will do it for you. I know it's going to be tough. I know it's tough. Don't say anything. Talk about the future. Tell people what's going to happen. Bring in that, I keep telling you, that group of people who are undecided, independents, not sure, riding the fence, who need to be told about the goodness. Okay, I'm all ears. Now that I've completely turned my back on the Democratic Party, let me hear you out for the first time. There are people who, for the first time, are listening to President Trump. I can't say this enough. They're going to pounce on you. One stupid tweet, one meme, one whatever. It can do anything at this point. Plus, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. I'm going to say this again. You don't have to do it. You don't have to say anything. It's obvious. Let me also say something to you. And keep this in mind, folks. There's a lot of folks out there whose relatives and friends and fathers and uncles suffer from this, and this isn't funny to them. Now, we can laugh at it. That's fine. Other people can laugh at it. Meme folks, influencers, that's okay. President Trump has been perfect. You don't have to say anything. Okay, so if situation number one, going back to this wrap up, if Biden runs, Trump will win. That's it. Unless, of course, 20 million new voters happen to vote for it, which would be, I mean, even the corrupt folks would say, okay, you can't do that. Now, situation two. Let's say it's Newsom. Let's just pick somebody. Could be anybody, but let's say him. Trump will eat his lunch. Right off the bat. Right off the bat. What's the first thing you would say to Gavin Newsom? What's the first thing you'd say? What would you call him? What? Sloppy seconds? The wallflower? Nobody wanted you? Where are you from? Who are you? Who are you, son? Gavin Newsom. Didn't you say you weren't going to run? Yeah. Oh, I see. So were you lying then or are you lying now? Oh, situations have changed. Oh, and you didn't know? Let me get this straight. When you said you weren't going to run, when you happened to, for whatever reason, debate Ron DeSantis, and you met with Xi Jinping, what was that all about? So when you said you weren't going to run, you honestly, you knew nothing about this. You had no reason to doubt President Biden's mental wherewithal. Is that what you're saying? Is that what? Okay, so you're here now, right? All right. You're here. Well, what about Kamala Harris? Why isn't she running? Trump could just have the time of his life. What about Kamala Harris? She's a vice president. I mean, what kind of a message is this? The deal was if something happened to Biden, Kamala Harris was the replacement. That's what people voted her in for. Now you're telling, what are you doing now? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't grasp it. I'm not following this. I don't get it. So that's number one. Number two. So now with 100 and some days, you're going to put together a cabinet. Are you sure you're ready for this? Do you know what you're talking about? When you met Xi Jinping, what'd you talk about? You know who he is, right? Yeah. You ever meet him? Yeah. You ever met Putin? Gavin, sit down. He's going to eat your lunch. Putin is going to take one look at you. You ever see the way he looks at you? He's going to sit there. Do you see what he did to Tucker Carlson? Remember Tucker? He was just... And after Putin's so cold-blooded. After he meets with Tucker, he said, it was pretty weak. I thought he'd be tougher. Wow. Wow, dude. Okay. All righty. I see where we're going with this one. Fantastic. This is the greatest story of them all. So you're going to meet with Putin. You are. Let me get this straight. You are, And you're going to negotiate what? What's your take? What are you going to do regarding what? NATO? How you going to keep funding NATO? Yeah. What does NATO do for us? What exactly are we doing with NATO? You thought about that one? What do you, oh, excuse me. Why don't you check with your bosses, because they're going to hand you the script that you're going to read. That's what Biden did. And that's what got him into trouble, because he never understood this. You want to give unlimited money to Israel? Go ahead. Good people. Have you talked to Bibi yet? Because he's going to run that show. You ever met him? Oh man, he thinks he runs a show. He's going to come. He's still planning coming to DC. Ask Obama about how he treats you. You want to handle that one? Oh, he talk about eating your lunch. Oh no. So you do that, yeah. And about crime. Let me ask you something, Gavin. Can I call you Gavin? Gavin, what do you think about reformative justice? You know, that George Soros business. You know, where we put people back into society, where we take a non-carceral way of looking at things. We put them into this. Yeah, that. How do you feel about that, Gavin? No bail, Gavin. Think that's a good idea? What about child trafficking, human trafficking, child predation? How are you going to do with dealing with people like TikTok and Zuckerberg? You're from Silicon Valley, aren't you? Oh, yeah. So you're going to get tough on them? Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's talk about some other things too. Let's talk about. I mean, he is just going to. And Trump could be as vicious as he wanted, because remember, here's Gavin. He's a walk-on. He's an understudy. It's like when you wait for tickets, you buy tickets. You think you're going to see somebody at some Broadway play or musical, and the star's not there. And you get this guy who might be very good. And everything Trump can say is, did they tell you to say that? You didn't write that, did you? You didn't write that. How are you going to handle if there's a next COVID? Because you know they're going to pull that on you, right? Because they figure you're one of them, just like they did by him. You're going to slip off to the French Laundry? Boy, the way that was tacky. And your kids were in private school, weren't they? Yeah. Anything he says. Anything. Trump can just eat him and say, listen, Gav, hold it. You know that 3 o'clock in the morning call they always talk about? Yeah, it doesn't come at 3 o'clock in the morning. It comes all the time. All the time. You ready for this? If you get the message that there is some operative, some bad guy, can you issue a drone strike? Do you know what that is? Do you trust people? Are you going to be owned by the military industrial complex? Because say what you want about Obama, he told him, he said no to Syria when Rachel Maddow was clamoring for us to attack Syria. How are you going to handle that? Oh, Gavin it is going to be the worst entree. That's not what Newsom wanted. He wanted to be not the substitute. He wanted to be the selection of the party, culled from all of the candidates, the best, the most likely, the best intended, all of that stuff. That's what he wanted. But instead, he's going to get this. Here's Gavin, okay. And the Democrats are going to say, who the hell is this? Now they bring in this guy? And Gavin, do you mean to tell me you didn't know? You've talked to Biden, right? Everybody's been, look, Gavin, I'm a former president. I have a lot of inside connections. Everybody knew about JoJo. Why all of a sudden is Pops, they're worrying about him now? Can we believe you? If we don't, we can't even believe you to come clean about when you knew about this. You honestly, you sat there and you said that Joe Biden was sharp and ready to do this. You said this. What kind of judgment is that? Gavin won't be able to move. He won't be. First of all, nobody wanted him. Ask Gerald Ford how he feels. Ask Gerald Ford. Nobody likes these substitutions. Nobody. Now, LBJ, different story, Teddy Roosevelt after McKinley, different story. That's kind of like line of succession. But this? What about my favorite, Nelson Rockefeller? He is the vice president nobody remembers with Ford. Remember that guy? You can ask him, who was Ford's, ask people, who's Ford's vice president? They don't even remember. Nobody wants these people. It's like a career kill. It's horrible. So whoever steps in, it's a killer because nobody wanted you. Oh, there's Gavin. Yeah, it's great, Gavin. Well, you kind of were wanting Biden, but for whatever reason. So you see what I'm saying? We're doing great. We're doing great. Let them talk. Let them talk. Go to Camp David. You believe this crap. We're doing great. It's as though the gods have looked down on us and said, yes, you're going to benefit once and for all. Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me say, first of all, to you, you have been unbelievable in your, I don't know what the words are rather. You have been so, you just have been so incredibly honorable and loyal, and you are to be commended. And you probably don't know. This is great. Now, can a meteor hit? Can there be some last minute? Who in the hell knows? But we're winning. It's changing. It's as though God has said, watch what happens. 4 prosecutions, all three of them have just collapsed prosecutions now. One of them, this final one in New York, is just a joke. Stormy Daniels, Dusty Saddles, that's it. This last minute, it's the greatest thing ever. It's the greatest move. It's the greatest moment ever. Raul says, sitting on a battleship. X, true, yeah. She, Trump and Putin, yep. Kind of like that famous, that Tehran movement, or that picture. You're right about that. Now, let me explain something to you also, dear friends. This is Mrs. L's YouTube channel. She has a video you've got to see on, I'm just going to say it, baby farms. You're going to say, wait a minute, what? Baby farms. Did I hear you correctly? Yep. Follow this. Follow her. You are not going to believe what is going on right now. That is just because what's scary is as the shadow government hears the tanks coming, they're going for broke. You're going to see Rachel Levine and all these people at the last minute try everything of their trans stuff and their surgeries, and every Greta Thunberg will drag her out. They see the writing on the wall. So they're going to try to get as many things as pardons and you name it. You name it. And by the by, I want you to listen to this incredible, this great, have you seen it? It is McGregor's, Colonel McGregor's, what's it called? Our Country, whatever his group is called. He does an address that is so perfect. It's so glorious, so incredible. But in the meantime, and I hope you can hold back, follow Mrs. L. You can't believe what they're doing. Lynn's Warriors is the name. Lynn's Warriors is the name. And she and other people have been waiting because Donald Trump, during his tenure, did more to help and to protect children and families and missing children and missing girls, especially in addition to the missing and murdered indigenous tribes, which nobody cares about, especially nobody cares about that. So that's it, my friend, and make sure you do it. Secretary Colonel McGregor should be the next defense secretary. John Mearsheimer should be the secretary of state. Colonel McGregor, absolutely. I think Dennis said it. Yes, absolutely. He is exquisite. Exquisite. And you know who else I would pick, nominate? I don't know how we do, but a man whose thoughts and ideas are absolutely impeccable, Judge Napolitano. I love it. I love his, you call it Montpellerin, Mises, Libertarian, whatever you want to call it. I don't care about these names. It's changing, my friends. We are going to win. And also, let me remind you, dear friends, I will say this again, that yours truly will be at the Cutting Room on October the 26th. These are the tickets in the event. Can you imagine that? 10 days before the election. It is going to be a barn burner. So make sure you show up. And don't forget, it's a while off, but not really. Not really. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you for honoring me. Thank you for honoring me with your presence and your loyalty. Don't forget, Lionel Nation, subscribe. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are subscribed. And Lynn's Warriors. We are devoted to the unmistakable, the inimitable, the ineffable, the ineluctable, the inconvenient and the harmful, naked and bold truth, reality. That's it. If there's a name for that party, you tell me what it is. This is about saving our constitutional republic. All right, dear friends, thank you so much. And to the generosity of you. Oh, hang on a second. Sparky said, speaking of Obama, I thought one of his best decisions was opening up with Cuba. As a Tampa person, what do you think about it? You know, at that time, yes, absolutely. I think we have, for the longest times, we have been subject to this kind of Cold War nonsense. Look at this way, Sparky. We're dealing with Vietnam. What did Cuba ever do to us? Now, listen, these aren't the nicest people. What we did to Castro? No. Those days, listen, I'm a realist. So I thank you for that. Raul, thank you. Ryan, thank you. Brad Oplin, Fret Pound, EDAV33, and Mephisto Faustus. Thank you immensely for that. All right, my dear friends, have a great and a glorious and a wonderful day. Again, one more time, Mrs. L, please. Lynn's Warriors, and don't forget, these are the tickets. Well, that's good enough. All right, friends, have a great and glorious day. Don't ever change and mean that sincerely. See you tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We love you. Have a great and a glorious day. Remember, we're winning. Rejoice. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.